giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. Good morning, good people. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live, presented by Boston Scientific, streaming live on YouTube and Facebook. And of course, I am your host, Will. We got active in free agency and trade department. Scott Walker Steele. Boom. Cowboys, man, they got active on day 2. We are going to discuss it all, from the guys that they brought back and the guy that they traded for. We are going to break that down to a science. Shout out to my guy, Pat Walker. In the roundup, it's all Cowboys news. Bring back Dono. They bring back LVE. What this means for the defense. You know Dan Quinn right now is at the grill, two-stepping. Mike McCarthy, not so much, but Dan Quinn definitely is two-stepping at the grill as the Cowboys get defensive. And I love what they did with this trade. I love who they brought back in regards to Dono. And I'm not mad at the LVE thing, but I'm going to tell you why I'm not going to go above the love situation. I'll just leave it at like. All of that and more today's show. We got a jam-packed show today, y'all. I'm telling you. A jam-packed show today. We'll actually hear from a former Super Bowl champion that I had a chance to sit down with a while ago that will help, emphasize why I think this trade is such a really good trade. We'll also talk about why this isn't an abnormal trade for the Cowboys. And we'll listen to Stephon Gilmore. It's a really good show. Y'all want to make sure y'all stick around for it. And then, of course, I want to hear from y'all because a lot of Cowboys fans, for the most part, were all for this trade on Twitter. You got a chance to talk about it on Twitter, but I want to hear from y'all. 351-999-3787. What's good, Bomb Squad?
Bomb Squad!
What's up with y'all? How y'all feeling? I should be feeling good. You should be feeling good. If you're not, I got a solution for you later on in the show. You just got to stick around for it. That's all. You just got to stick around for it. Yes, sir, Gotti, baby. Just hold tight. We're going to talk about that. Actually, let's just go ahead and jump into this thing because there's a lot to discuss, and I'm pretty sure we'll get you guys calling in to discuss it as well. And I don't want to hold y'all all morning. So let's hit this roundup. Let's come out of this roundup and talk about one Stephon Gilmore.
It's time! It's time! It's time! It's time!
Time.
It's time!
Time?
It is time for...
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
Oh, they do it! Hey, oh, they do it!
Hey, yo. Donovan Wilson is back. Surprised the hell out of me. A good surprise, by the way. Because I didn't think the Cowboys would put this much money into the position. They historically have not. I say historically. They actually did back in the Gerald Sensabaugh, I guess you could say Barry Church days, but they haven't in quite some time. They actually kind of ignored the position altogether until Dan Quinn got here. And it was one of the positions that in one tech that I thought Dan Quinn would emphasize more, and almost immediately, right? You bring in KZ, you bring in Malik Hooker, you bring in Jaron Kearse, and then you see players rise up at that position, and Dan Quinn says, yes, sir, indeed, safety is important here. And they went on to show how important it was by signing Donovan Wilson to a 3-year, $24 million deal, $13.5 million guaranteed. It keeps intact that three-headed monster. And with this signing, and we'll get to the LV signing, I think what you're seeing is that, yes, we like the young guys that we have, but we want to rely on the veteran guys that have performed. Dan Quinn, and this is something maybe you can ask him, I don't know how complicated his scheme is to the players. Like I've talked to the quarterback and I've heard how complicated that is to the quarterback. But I don't know how complicated the scheme is to his players. But if you just look at the pieces and read between the lines, you can tell he doesn't want to rely on too many young guys from the second level and beyond. And when he does, kind of has got burnt. He's hit, right? Deron Bland has played above his age limit. Try to go with a Kelvin Joseph. It ain't quite work out. Izzy has been great, but they don't want to rely on Izzy. I say great, but he's filled in well. But clearly they don't want to rely on Izzy, the Jabril Coxes of the world. They went out and signed Anthony Barr. You can tell that Quinn kind of wants to get guys that have been around the block a little bit. But if you've been around the block and you don't perform, see ya. Keanu Deal, DeMonte KZ, Anthony Barr. He'll give you a shot. And he also will give the young guys a shot to take it. But if they don't take the reins, I'm going to bring back a guy like a Donovan Wilson. I'm going to bring back a guy like an LVE. This one, I saw a lot of people, was really excited about. I'm not saying I was down or excited about it. I was just like, all right, cool. Because LVE signed a 2-year, $11 million deal, and per James Slater, the first year is guaranteed. So what does that mean? The second year is not guaranteed? I'll keep an eye on that. LVE came out and talked about how he had so many different defensive philosophies. And he thinks his best play is yet to come. That very well may be true. He's only, 27, something like that. Problem is he's a hurt guy. And that's likely why you get a 2-year deal at $11 million and not a 3, 4, 5, 6 year. Well, 6 years never do that. But, a 3 or 4 year deal because you can't rely on him long term. He's been hurt most of his career. But last year, he had a bounce back year, but as one of our fantastic viewers said, not a bring back year. Well, according to the Cowboys, he had a bring back year. His $5.5 million per year is right at the David Long number, who, if y'all know, that's my guy, David Long Jr. Wanted to bring him back. But it falls below a handful of guys that was signed in the interior linebacker, inside linebacker market. But I think his value to Dan Quinn is much higher than most of ours. Dan loves the dude. He is essentially, and I know J-Ron's a green dot, but he's the quarterback at that second level when you saw how important that was when he left. Now, I thought that when he left and you saw the kind of the play of the second unit kind of go down was more of a vision of the second unit, the linebacker unit. But if they're not going to go out and try to upgrade from the LVE, which that's what I was trying to do. I want Bobby Wagner, David Long, Aziz, upgrade from him. What you couldn't do was downgrade. So that's where this kind of gets a good job here. And it wasn't like you paid him a lot. Last month we did a show called Who's Next. Well, it wasn't called Who's Next, but it was called, running back or not, right? And we listed Donovan Wilson. It was an easy running back. And we talked about LVE. And I'm not going to lie. We said, what are some numbers you guys are talking about? You guys said 2 years, $10 million. I think it was King G. I said, you know what? I ain't mad at that. I wouldn't be mad at 2 years, $10 million and that's $5 million per, and they can probably get out of it after year one. As long as they don't look at that as, okay, we're done. We're not going to try to continue to add to the position, whether it be with young guys in the draft, to continue to push him and other guys below him. And they probably won't be. So for me, golf clap. You got him back, and you got him back for relatively cheap. And it sounds like you protect yourselves because it's a 2-year deal. If it doesn't work in your favor this year, probably get rid of him next year because the 1-year guarantee. And if he gets hurt again, you probably get rid of him. If he plays out of his mind, right, you got him next year for cheap. Quality re-signing. Now, with that said, Donovan Wilson, LVE, 2 guys that have been on your team for a number of years. 2 guys, or at least in my opinion, Donovan Wilson, a guy you really had to get back. But if you weren't going to go get a Wagner, I guess LVE could kind of classify in that. That's remaining at status quo, right? I am all about in the business of trying to get better. And boy, did they do that with this Gilly Locks. This right here, this is getting better. And I feel like this was a move that they wanted to kind of do at the trade deadline. But their focus was all in on the wide receiver position because they had no idea just how bad cornerback 2 was about to be. And it was bad, ladies and gentlemen. So what do the Cowboys do? They don't want to go into the season having to deal with the Kelvin Joseph, having to deal with a Nashawn Wright, Sheffields of the world. They went out and they traded a 5th round comp pick for Stephon Gilmore. What are the details? It's the last 5th round pick for the Cowboys. So it wasn't like it was the first one. It didn't matter to me anyway. 5th is a 5th. But it was the last 5th round pick. And he only has 1 year left on his contract. Here are the details per Todd Archer. 2023 base salary, $7.96 million. Roster bonus of $1 million. Active roster bonus of $60K per game. Playtime incentives, and here's the kick. He's $1 million. And here's the number that everybody wants to know, the cap number, $10.9 million. So roughly 11 mil, right? This is a Catboy Will McClay special. What? What are you talking about, Scott? Yeah, it is. This is a move that they've made before. Now, this is a better player, but this is a move that they've made before. But I love the move at this position. But let's take a look at why this is a move that they've made before. They've acquired veterans at 30 plus over the last half decade. It's not new. They got Stephon Gilmore just now. They got Jonathan Hankins in the season. Everson Griffin a couple years ago. By the way, 5th round pick, 6th round pick, all these are 6th and 5th round picks. Remember Michael Bennett, 2019 in the middle of the season. Robert Quinn, 6th round pick. And then they signed Gerald McCoy to a 3-year deal. So this isn't out of the ordinary. This is right up Will McClay and Stephon. Will McClay and Stephen Jones' alley. And it won't be the last time that they do this. And if I'm being completely honest here, aside from the Gerald McCoy, Everson Griffin didn't work out, but I think that was more so because of the scheme, because of the coordinator. Mike Nolan didn't know what to do with Everson Griffin. I felt like we were just kind of putting random pieces together, and Mike Nolan was just throwing stuff out there. And this is why I think Will McClay is so goddamn important. And this is why when I make the joke of, hey, he's the Uber Eats guy, I'm not saying that to come at him. I'm saying that because I think when he goes and picks the groceries with the budget that he's given, he does a solid to really damn good job of finding quality within the ingredients. Michael Bennett he played well for the Cowboys. Robert Quinn had a 14-sack season. Jonathan Hankins, we saw how important he was. Stephon Gilmore is coming off of a fantastic year, which we'll get to in a second. The Gerald McCoy deal, only reason why that pissed me off was because they knew he had a flat tire and they put a donut on that tire and said, well, we're going to ride this Gerald McCoy car on a donut for an entire season. Only reason why I didn't like that, but I'm not going to lie. When I didn't know he had a flat tire, I was celebrating. And this is why, in my opinion, Will McClay is so important because he can go out here and find these type of veterans. Now, these aren't move the needle hump guys. Stephon Gilmore probably is at the top of that list, but these are glue guys. These are important guys that you need when you're trying to make a run. They can't be the end all be all though, and we'll get to that later on. We'll get to that later on. So you wonder why they keep around a Will McClay while they pay him GM money or whatever money. This is why. Because he does what he does in the draft, and he does what he does with this. So this isn't new, but we hope that this has a newer result, meaning a Stephon Gilmore maybe can be a hump player. But getting veteran guys in the twilight of the career and trying to get one more year out of it, it's not new around here. And Gilly Locks, he ain't done. No sirree, Bob. He's not done, Cowboys Nation. You're probably going to have fans, Eagle haters, whatever, come out and say, dude's washed, he's this, he's that. He's none of that. Shout out to my guy, Lloyd Haresh, who put together this fantastic breakdown comparing him to other top cornerbacks in the NFL from 2022. Gilmore allowed 56.2% completion rate, 6.5 yards per target, and 11.5 yards per reception. He says for context, all three rates were better than the numbers posted by Slay, Humphrey, Ramsey, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, and Alexander, and his 74 passer rating allowed was second in that group behind only Alexander. And if we're being real, it doesn't even matter if he was last of this group. Bottom line, he's an upgrade to what you had last year. A massive upgrade to what you had last year. For reference, Stephon Gilmore has only given up more than 2 touchdowns in the season one time since 2018. Once. And he's only given up, my apologies. He's only given up more than 2 touchdowns on the season once in the last 7 years. Once in the last 7 years. And he hasn't given up more than 2 touchdowns since 2018. Anthony Brown gave up 5 touchdowns in 2022. 6 touchdowns in 2021. That's 11 total in a 2-year span. Y'all, that's about the same amount as Gilmore in a 5-year span. Well, what about Kelvin Joseph? Dude, he gave up 4 touchdowns and 100 coverage snaps last year. It was so bad at quarterback too, Cowboys Nation. It was so bad that they went out and signed Sheffield, Rhodes, Mullins. They tried everything. Benched Kelvin Joseph. They tried everything to upgrade that position. So getting a Stephon Gilmore, I don't care if they give up a 3rd rounder, to be completely honest. Y'all know how I feel. Get me dudes. He's a dude. He's going to help you right now. And a place where he's also going to help this team is something that if you've been following this channel, if you've been following me for the last couple years, I've been kind of screaming at the mountaintop for this. Yes, he can play. But not only can he play, but can he elevate the play of the guys in that room? And that is much easier said than done. Because guys got to respect you. You usually got to be a veteran. You usually got to be proven. And ever since I had a talk with my guy and had the privilege to sit down with Super Bowl champion Brian McFadden about this, I've been 10 toes down about this, especially in that defensive back room, because it was such a young room and it was such in a way, an unproven one. Yes, I know AB has been here and Jay Lou has been here. When I say unproven, I mean they didn't have a lot of guys that reached the mountaintop, whether it be as a champion, whether it be as a defensive player of the year, whether it be as an elite player. And then they did, boom, year 2 of a Trayvon Diggs. But he's young. He's young mentally. He's still learning the game. He's still learning the position. I talked to Brian McFadden about, why that is so important. And I want you guys to listen to what he had to say. This is a couple years ago. To listen to what he had to say and then think about that and bringing in a guy like Stephon Gilmore. So take a listen to Brian McFadden.
But let me ask you this question. Have you ever seen 2 blind individuals try to walk each other across the street without a stick?
No.
That's an accident waiting to happen, right?
Yes.
And I said that to say this. When you're talking about trying to be successful, you can't have the blind leading the blind. You can't have young guys learning from young guys because they come into the league not knowing anything. So they have to have an image within their facility that does the same thing that they do, that do it well, to be able to follow and see, this is how I need to go about the game. This is how I got to study. This is how I got to protect my body. This is how I got to stay healthy. This is how I got to work out. This is what I do. See, when I got drafted to Pittsburgh, we had savvy vets who might not have been considered the best players at their position, but what they were winners. The Shea Townsends of the world, the Ike Taylors of the world, the Willie Williams of the world. So when I got drafted and we all played the same position, and I see how they welcomed me into the building, not to mention I'm competing against you. I'm trying to take your position. They didn't see me as a threat. They saw me as an individual who can help them and motivate them to continue to stay on their task and stay on their toes, but ultimately win ball games. So I saw how they went about their business on Tuesdays. Most people don't come in. DBs, they in there. Guess what? I had to follow. Oh, we working out on Tuesday, guys. Y'all know what time it is. That ain't an off day for us. We got the whole off season to be off. Monday, it's an easy day. Now we grinding. If you don't have an injury, we grinding. Let's go on the football field. Let's go ahead and watch extra tape. On Thursdays, we used to watch tape when practice was over, when everybody would leave the facility together as a unit. That's something that wasn't required of us from the staff, but we required that from ourselves. So that's what I said. You got young guys there in the secondary that have started to kind of scratch the surface of being consistent, but they're not there yet. The best way to get the best from them guys is add someone who, number one, when they walk in, they're going to respect.
When they walk in, they're going to respect. That, I mean, when I talked to him on and off air, man, so much of what he had to say and just picking his brain just stuck with me, man. And that part of the game, the mentality, right? That drive, that vibrates throughout the locker room. That vibrates throughout the locker room. And I think you felt that as a fan, because as fans, right, we don't see that too often. Sometimes you'll get a Micah Parsons or you get a J-Ron Curse who will bring you back into that locker room and then you feel it based off what you see or hear from them. And we saw that. We felt that, right, during the season. The he is him movement. Not I'm him. He's him. You felt that. You also felt it when the defense started to have trouble. You heard guys come out and were pissed off. Hey, man, you know, we can't be superheroes out here. Everybody playing hero ball. So you can feel it a little bit as a fan. But listening to Brian McFadden, you can see and feel his passion about, you know, why it was so damn important to get guys like a Stephon Gilmore in that locker room. And that was the year I was advocating to bring in one of these veterans, not just a Trayvon Mullen or not just an Xavier Rhodes, but a guy that's been to the mountaintop. And Gilmore's been there. And I think Gilmore's play is obviously going to help the Cowboys, but I think Gilmore's experience being at the top of his game, an experience of being a champion, an experience of being a defensive player of the year, an elite guy, and his hunger to keep on being that guy is going to vibrate throughout this locker room, throughout that defensive back room. Courtesy, this next clip of the Colts. Gilmore talked about his mindset going up against the best. This was a clip from when he played against Davante Adams. Just listen to him and then tell me how that doesn't not only help your DB room, but catapults it to potentially as a top 5 unit, top 3 unit in the league. Listen to Stephon Gilmore talk about his matchup against Davante Adams, y'all.
Year 11 for me in the league, going on year 12, and I think as you get older, they kind of doubt you a little bit.
Broken up! It's broken up! The Colts win! Ball game! Stephon Gilmore with the pass breakup! Ball game! It's batted down by Gilmore, the former defensive player of the year.
He kept trying me, so I made him pay.
Each and every week I go in with that mindset to let them know that I'm still here and that I'm still playing at a high level.
It's 4th and 7 at the 16-yard line.
We knew it was going to come down to the last second with them. They know they got a great offense, great skill positions.
4th and 6 coming up.
4th down, me and Davante Adams. Those moments like that, everyone wants to see it. It's the best on best, and both of us competing. Who wouldn't want to see that?
Shotgun snap. The Colts bring a blitz. Backs to throw. Giving ground. He off his back foot. Lobs for the end zone for Adams.
And it's broken up by the Colts by Stephon Gilmore.
Stephon Gilmore was step for step with the Pro Bowler.
Davante Adams, the intended receiver.
It's incomplete.
And no flags on the play. One All-Pro going up against another. And on downs, games the Colts hold.
You can't panic in that situation. You know the ball's coming your way. Going against a guy like Devontae Adams, I've been playing against him my whole career. I know for myself I can't be as aggressive at the line of scrimmage because I know he's a quick receiver that can really get off the line. I gotta kind of be patient with him and try to beat him to the spot on all of his routes. Now I kind of moved back off the line just to see where he was going. As soon as he took that angle to the touchdown, I just kind of beat him to the spot.
Broken up Gilmore. There's no yellow on the play.
And played through the hands. I thought it was going to be a back shoulder. That's why I looked behind me a little. Once I knew it wasn't a back shoulder, I just played the hands. He had a visor on, so I really couldn't see his eyes. I just looked at his mannerism and knew the ball was coming to him, was able to make a play and play through the pocket.
You got one-on-one coverage with Stephon Gilmore. It's a fade route to the outside. There's a lot of contact.
The former Defensive Player of the Year breaks it up in the end zone.
And go!
You know, it's a competitive play going against probably the best receiver in the league. Just trying to let him know that I'm still here. You know, I've been in that position multiple times throughout my career. As long as they keep playing that type of game, I'll be ready for each moment. And I embrace those situations.
One All-Pro going up against another.
The former Defensive Player of the Year breaks it up in the end zone.
I was just ready for the moment. I was going to dig deep during that moment and try to make a play to help the team win.
Man, you know, I watch that and I get excited. I get so damn excited, and I'm going to look at get that here, but I want to stay on this real quick because this is even better than that. But I want to talk about the Stephon Gilmore situation. Listen to some of the things that he said and why it's going to be so. Angles, patience, playing through the hands, eyes, mannerisms. You can't get that with no goddamn Kelvin Joseph. Can't get it with Nashawn Wright. You get that with a Stephon Gilmore. And now, well, how does it translate on the field? He's he's an elite, he's a all-pro man corner. And the Cowboys love to run that cover one. They love to run a ton of man. You heard Trayvon Diggs. He said, what help? He said, I don't even know what safety help looks like. And that's real. How many times did we look at the film and say, damn, Malik, how come you're not helping out so-and-so? Because it was so many. So-and-so on the other side. 9 times out of 10 is because Dan Quinn didn't want him to. He ain't got to help no Stephon Gilmore because he's been one of the best man corners in the NFL. And this is what I also love about it. His style is a great yin-yang to a Trayvon Diggs. Diggs is going to gamble. Diggs is going to be aggressive. Diggs is going to try to get all the interceptions. Stephon Gilmore, did I say Stephon Diggs? Stephon Gilmore is going to be more technician. You heard him talk about it. Patience, eyes, playing through the hands, mannerisms. He's going to try to lock you down through technique. And last year, you go look at the film, he did that on a number of occasions. I saw somebody on Twitter say, oh, he gave up the second most yards of his career. That's not true. Stephon Gilmore gave up 500 and something yards on 500 and something snaps, coverage snaps. It was fantastic last year, Cowboys Nation. And when you look at the acquisitions of 30-plus-year-old guys, I think you have to put him up there as a top guy. Now, Robert Quinn is not far, but I know it's hindsight, right? Robert Quinn had a 14-sack year, but when Robert Quinn was traded for, and you put on the tape, he didn't lose the juice. It's very, very similar where people were writing Robert Quinn off, but you put on the tape, and you're like, no. He still has juice. You look at the numbers, he was still ranked pretty high in pass rush win rate. It's the same thing with Stephon Gilmore. You put on the tape, he's still good. You look at the numbers, he's still good. You look at the fit, it's chef kiss. So now I got a guy I can trust over there. I got a pass rush unit that may not be complete, may not be done. But even if it is, you still got a Micah. The final missing piece is going to be adding in a big one tech. We did an entire show on this where bring back a Hankins, bring back or sign a Sean Robinson, etc. if you're going to continue to add these 30-plus mercenaries or 30-ish or veteran mercenaries, there's some out there. The Hickses of the world, the Ashawn Robinsons of the world, the Jonathan Hankins of the world. If you're going to sign back an LVE, you got to keep them clean. You got to keep them clean. You tell me we continue to beef up the interior and then I get an LVE back for $5 million. I'm not going to trip about that. But you tell me we roll into the season and we're not helping on the interior and it's Neville Gallimore and it's just Bosa and it's just Osa and that's your guys and it's Los, you know, bless their hearts. They try their hardest. That ain't enough for me. Me personally, that's not enough. Because we saw the impact a Hankins had on an LVE. So the Cowboys get defensive, but they got to get a little bit more defensive, I think, because it looks like, I mean, it's early. We're in March 15th. It looks like the attention that they're not going to be aggressive on both sides of the ball. It doesn't look that way. The attention is going to the defense. And if it's going to go to the defense, goddamn it, go all in with it. Would have loved a Wagner. Cool, it didn't happen. Would have loved a Aziz. Didn't happen. Would have loved a David Long. Didn't happen. But you didn't get worse. It's not what you want to hear, right? You didn't get worse at the safety position or at the linebacker position, but you did get better at the DB position. Don't get worse on the interior. Don't get worse on the interior. All right. That's kind of my soliloquy on Stephon Gilmore. As you can tell, I'm excited to have him on board. And I think this is a fantastic Will McClay, Stephen Jones special. It checks all the boxes. This is not a Catboy criteria acquisition, but this is a Will McClay and Stephen Jones special. Got to come up with a clever name for these type of moves. It's a one-year situation. You're not locked in for the foreseeable future. And if you're going to get a guy like this, keep adding. Keep adding. Keep adding. Don't stop. Looked in the chat. Somebody said something about Zeke. Let me refresh this, because if we got breaking news, that'd be great. I think this is interesting. Here we go. Yep. Looks like the Cowboys are set to release longtime running back Ezekiel Elliott per Clarence Hill, a.k.a. Chill. And Twan, if you're in the chat, let's all take a shot for Twan.
They ask you how you are when you get into it because they would never understand.
We appreciate it, Zeke. You gave it your all here, man. You were a warrior. You're going to go down as one of the best to suit up for the Cowboys. Twan's probably going to cry in the car. But we'll hold it down for you, brother. We will. This is not a surprise, right? Like, there's no way you were bringing back Ezekiel Elliott when you franchise tag Tony Pollard, when you look at the running back class, and when you understand the landscape of the running back position. Not a surprise. This is the right thing to do. I understand our community has kind of taken sides on this thing, but this is the right thing to do. And I don't want the Zeke news to overshadow the Stephon Gilmore news, but this is the point in time of the offseason where we're going to be getting a lot of this. Now, the reason why I find this interesting, yesterday when we did the roundup and they restructured Michael Gallup's contract. If you guys remember in the roundup, if you can't remember, go back and listen. I said, am I crazy to think that this restructure meant that something was in the works? Hindsight, it was, and it was Stephon Gilmore. I was like, am I crazy to think that? Because you just don't clear $7 million from a Michael Gallup for nothing. They didn't need to clear $7 million just to extend or sign some Catboy criteria guys. What happens some hours later? They go out and they trade for Stephon Gilmore to fit his salary under the cap. And Michael Gehlken essentially came out yesterday and said, hey, the reason why you're able to do that, the reason why it was done was because you restructured Michael Gallup's contract. Re-signed Dono. Re-signed LVE. Traded for Stephon Gilmore. They did all that without releasing Ezekiel Elliott or messing with Tyron Smith's contract. So they got that done. Now Zeke is set to be released. I don't know if this is going to be June 1st. I don't know if this is going to be just a flat out cut and you get that $4-point-something million now. Regardless, they're going to clear more cap. Something else in the works. Y'all know what I'm insinuating here. Y'all know the position I'm talking about here. Wide receiver. We just had a fantastic show. Shout out to my bro, Foots the King, yesterday on some drafted guys. They went out and got the corner. They re-signed the safety. They re-signed the linebacker. It's looking like wide receiver, pass catcher, tight end, offensive line. It's looking like that position could be taken early in the draft. But what if they don't? Jane Slater came out and said there's been nothing that she's been hearing about a DeAndre Hopkins. I ain't hearing nothing about a Stephon Gilmore until what happened. So, and Jane Slater's been wrong. She thought they weren't going to bring back D-Hop. Donovan Wilson. What about Odell Beckham? He's still out there too. It's something in the works. That's the position. You want to show me that you're all in? Stephon Gilmore is definitely a part of that. It's not new though, right? Like this isn't new to me. It's not new, but that makes me feel like are we leaning towards saying, let's go for the goddamn gusto. Go get me one of those receivers then. I could be being greedy though. I could be being greedy. Hold on, Twan, did you? I just looked over. Twan super chatted me. He said he wanted his money back. Twan, I'm not going to do this to you, bro. You know others are going to get you. I know this is a day for you. In fact, I want you to call in, man, if you can. I do honestly want to hear your opinions on this. Because this is why I don't give you slack. I don't give you flack because you've come out and you said that's your man. That's your favorite player. I get it, bro. That's your favorite player. So you're going to feel a certain type of way. I ain't attached to Zeke like that. Let me see if I get Clarence Hill's. He just says the time is coming. He got an article. All right, man. Ooh, man, do I want to go in on this Zeke thing? But this Stephon Gilmore too good right now. It's too good. Let's hit the phone lines. Before I hit the phone lines, and it's a lot of y'all, if you missed the breakdown of one Stephon Gilmore and why this excites me and why it should excite you, or if you watched it and you weren't excited, we got issues. But don't worry, if you're not excited, I can give you a solution to get you excited, and that's Boston Scientific, Cowboys Nation. In the U.S., more than 39 million men suffer from ED, and Boston Scientific has created edcure.org to help you find your best cure. And to get started, you just head on over to edcure.org, take the quiz, learn the severity or risk of ED, and if you got a condition, you'll find customized content. The fastest way to find your best cure is to contact an ED specialist by browsing a list of experienced physicians in your area. So hit up edcure.org. It ain't hard. Say it with me. But you can be.
You're listening to A to Z Sports.
Do it live!
At some point, hoping to broadcast
In front of the millions
of Cowboys fans to bring you the real. But for now, strap up and reach for the sky. Here's your host, Skywalker Steele.
I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm here to rescue you.
We'll do it live.
Hitting Stephon Diggs for a 5th round pick. That's an instant kill. Hey, you go lay down tonight. You're having trouble. Just play this. Just play this if you're having trouble. Breaking news: the Dallas Cowboys have traded for Stephon Diggs. Let's go, baby! All right, Coach Marv, save me before I get inappropriate. What's up, Coach Marv?
Hey, what's going on, Sky?
What's up?
Want to talk about my homeboy.
Who's your homeboy?
Gilmore, South Carolina guy. I
ain't know that. I watched it. Excuse me, my bad.
Yeah, I watched that young man since he was in high school. What made him he was converted to being a corner when he went to the University of South Carolina because he played corner, but he was ranking as one of the top high school athletes as an athlete because he played quarterback, receiver. So his skill level. I love a guy that played quarterback and receiver. They used to convert if they're physical enough, which he was, converts into a very good cornerback because they know the skill level. They got that thinking of a receiver and a quarterback as well. And not only just a great athlete, he's one of the best guys that you're going to have in your locker room. Very cerebral guy, very knowledgeable about the game.
Yep.
When he came back here, after he left Buffalo, he said that Bill Belichick, which is a DB guy. Bill Belichick, people don't understand Bill Belichick is a DB guy. And he said he learned so much when he was in New England. New England really didn't want to get off of him, but you know, New England has that thing about when they develop guys underneath you, they give them a chance. And look at the corners that came after Gilmore. And Gilmore was a very big role in developing those guys to step up and be guys to be stars and get their own contracts. So you're talking about a guy that's going to help this defensive back room, not just greatly with the knowledge of being defensive back, and this is going to be a great teaching tool for a young guy like Diggs that's really start learning on the job because he didn't play DB that long. A great learning tool for Nashawn Wright as well as Kelvin Joseph. These guys are going to learn a lot from him, and if they soak up that knowledge and use their athletic ability, if Gilmore doesn't stay around long, you may be better served for them being better players after Gilmore leaves. To be able to step in roles, because just like you said, they're going to get the knowledge not from the coaching staff, but they're going to get the knowledge from a Hall of Famer corner that still can play, and they can watch him every day and learn his craft. So this is where, you know, you're right, Sky, that we have that, what we call that Super Bowl experienced guy. That's the thing that we talked about with Bobby Wagner. I still would love to see them bring Bobby Wagner in here because I still think the Damone Clark, which Damone Clark had a pretty good year based off of a guy that didn't even have contact till week 6, 7, or 8 as a rookie. And you know, and if you look at his stats was pretty good. I think, you know, for a guy, it was comparative to a lot of linebackers, but for not being a rookie and not having that live work until that late in the season to come out and do what he did shows that this guy has great potential. But as you said, they can learn a lot from a Bobby Wagner. This move also, Scott, think about this. When you get a guy that's so respected on the league like Gilmore, this might bring down Bobby Wagner's asking price maybe down by $1 million or $2 million, because now he said, okay, they really are even looking better to win a championship. And in his career, he wants to hold that Lombardi trophy up again. And this is why he left. You know, so this is why he left the Rams. Him and Rams made it agree because he said, I'm not going to go through no rebuilding. But when you start making moves like this, and people see these moves like Gilmore and these free agents out here know Gilmore still, they already know what Diggs is, and they still know what Gilmore is. They're like, some of these guys may say, okay, well, you know, I may take a tad bit less because I think these guys are about to win the chip. Yeah. And I'm going to be a part of that. Yeah. So that's what big moves like that does. It starts the momentum, and it gets you better in that negotiating room to say, well, we trying to get to the championship, But now they see a piece that says, yeah, I think they on the right move. Let me get on board with that so I can ride into that as well and get to that chip. So this is what these type of moves do. But Gilmore is a hometown guy. Went to and this guy is a definite dog, and he's going to teach this defensive back room a great deal. And it was a great move by him. And I think that's one of the best moves that they have made, because that's how you bring your young talent up.
Yeah.
Put guys in front of them that are good, that can teach them something.
Okay.
Yes.
Appreciate it, Coach. I was trying to get up in there, but you was boxing me the hell out, man.
No, I'm
all
sorry.
the rebounds that was coming. You was saying some good stuff, but I want to come back to the Bobby Wagner thing, because you talked about Damone Clark, and I was just sitting here thinking as you were saying that. Listen, I'm all in on Damone Clark, being a developmental young backer that's got the athleticism. He's smart. He's a hard worker. But if you told me we're going for the gusto, right? I'm willing to sign a Bobby Wagner and take another year of Damone Clark developing, and I'll put the Bobby Wagner and LVE next to each other, and let's see how that works out. It also helps your depth as well. So I would love to continue to go out there and go get a Bobby Wagner, but I feel like, from a trade, and I hope I'm wrong. I'm going to say that again because I said it before and it worked. I hope I'm wrong, but I feel like from a trade and another kind of, I say another, they haven't signed a big-time free agent, but a trade and a big-time free agent move happening, don't it feel like they kind of shot all their shots because it's the Cowboys?
Yeah, you open up money. They're not gonna open up all the money and have the money sitting out there, and then the negotiation thing where people say, well, we don't have the cap money, so we can fit you in here. We can make this amount of money. And they know what amount of money they can create, but they don't want to put it all out there for the free agents to say, hey, let's get all that. No, we don't have this, but if we can make this amount. So that they're doing the smart. They say they only make a move when they're going to make a move.
And
that's how they do. We make a move, then we're going to make a move.
We talk about this a few times with different callers. If it's one guy that seems to have some juice to be able to get the Joneses to do something out of the ordinary, it's Dan Quinn. He got the Joneses to spend $5 million on a safety to convert him to linebacker. He got the Joneses to pay a safety $24 million contract. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
Maybe Dan Quinn can say, "Hey, look, I know Bobby's he don't want to play for no $5 million, but work y'all magic. Work your it looks like a 3-year deal, but it's really a 1-year deal, and we can get out of it. Work that magic to go for this thing, because if we're going to just build up defensively because you trust me, then give me all the goddamn dogs."
Yeah, I mean, and I think and this way there, I think Dan Quinn and the Cowboys are working together, because they're putting pieces there that what we said needs that veteran experience, that guy that can push us over the hump. And that was, I think sometimes we think about, and I'm in the plane here. I think I remember a long time ago the Charles Haley move. The Charles Haley move was not as important about the sack totals that he was going to get. He was the person to give the Cowboys that mindset of winning championships and doing the things you need to do to be focused on winning big games. And that was the most important part of Charles Haley's acquisition.
Indeed, bro. Appreciate the call, Coach Marr.
Yeah, right. Appreciate it, brother.
Got a little bit more on this Ezekiel Elliott news. James Slater dropped something a couple minutes ago. I've inquired about Zeke, and here's what I've been told. There have been discussions about his release. Not sure if it's happening today, per one source. Another said, last I heard, we were trying to make it work. That was a week ago. So we'll stay on top of this thing, but Chill is pretty plugged. Chill as in Clarence Hill. It's pretty plugged. This is the likely choice, sources confirmed, not official, but very real. This is from Ian Rappaport. But very real chance Zeke Elliott has played his last down in Dallas. Man, so much movement happening in the first week for Dallas. I can't quite remember the last time it's been this active She had another tweet. It's been this active for the Cowboys early. Now, again, they haven't really been active in free agency. They've been active in re-signing their own. I know, well, Scott, they're free agents. I mean, outside guys. But hey, two re-signings. One of them at a price that I thought they would never do, or at least they wouldn't do recently, at a safety position, and then trading for a Stephon Gilmore. That's super active. And now the news drops that they're likely going to be releasing Ezekiel Elliott. Maybe they're realizing, hey, we can't just continue to sit back in this week, because a lot of the guys, if you can look at the top 100 free agents, like 50 of those dudes is gone. So a lot of those guys are gone. Teams are making trades. The Eagles re-signed, Bradbury. They may retain Slay, which is weird. Report came out that Cowboys inquired about Slay, or the Eagles inquired Cowboys about Slay. I don't know about all that. And then the Giants traded for Darren Waller. So, teams are active. Dallas can't keep affording to just, we'll sit back and we'll sign James Washington and Ryan Nall. And we'll hold tight and we'll let, Donovan Wilson go out there and get signed elsewhere. Not done, though. It's not done. Jane Slater dropped another source to follow up on Clarence Hill report that Zeke will be cut, quote, looking like it. Again, it's all but likely that Ezekiel Elliott will be cut. And let me get to Twan super chat.
Super chat.
Twan dropped a 50 piece earlier and says, showing love to this evil fella right here talking about me. Sky make you want to fight, but have a good show. I am 100%. I always say this, man. I warn people, if you can't handle the heat, you can't come in this kitchen. I am 100% a very passionate debater. Twan knows this. We've had our back and forth before, but it's all love, man. We all want the same thing. He dropped one after that.
Super chat. And
said, I sent you the $49.99 earlier, but my chest hurt. I'm smiling through the pain, Sky, and Zeke is gone. LOL. One last chance. Bring him back. Vet minimum. Wouldn't that be something? They re-signed Ezekiel Elliott. Now, here's what's going to be crazy for the stands, right? Zeke's going to sign somewhere. This happened in Dallas before. Hopefully it's not Philly. Well, they just signed Penny. But where DeMarco Murray went to Philly, didn't work out. But then he went to Tennessee and he's a Pro Bowler again. Zeke's going to sign somewhere, and we're going to keep one eye over there. Just like we're keeping one eye on the L.A. Chargers, who, by the way, likely are getting rid of Austin Eckler. Kellen Moore becomes offensive coordinator in Dallas. Ezekiel Elliott holds out and makes a joke that, oh man, we only got 5 run plays. Doesn't throw the ball to the running backs. It's not a part of the playbook. Goes to LA. Not Ezekiel Elliott. Austin Eckler, another E. One of the best dual threat backs, one of the best receiving backs, 177 receptions, looks at the playbook and says, man, trade me. That's a coincidence? I think not. Now, Justin Herbert's probably like, yes. Verts, throw the ball up, 45 attempts. I wanted to throw the ball all game. Loves it. It's going to put up numbers. It's going to be fantastic putting up numbers. That running back, though, said, nah, I'm good, player. Get me up out of here. DC for Life dropped 5 and said, wrong one.
Super chat.
Dropped 5 and said, it would be nice now to get to see Diggs beat his INT record and beat the record with at least 12. What up, Sky? Good morning, Cowboys Nation. Yeah, that'd be fun. That'd be great. It ain't needed. But teams, that's what's really going to be fun. Teams are going to have a hard time targeting this man. You could bully the cornerback twos, the Anthony Browns, the Kelvin Joseph, Nashawn Rice, Trayvon Mullins, Sheffields, Xavier Rhodes. You could bully them all game and not go to Trayvon Diggs. But at the same time, you could lull Trayvon Diggs to sleep. We saw that. How many times did we see that, right? I say how many times, like he was just getting burnt. Let me take that back. We saw that a few times last year where Trayvon got bored. He got, he's biting, trying to get a pick and boom, touchdown or boom, first down or something. Because Trayvon Diggs had a fantastic year. Don't get twisted. He ain't finna be bored no more because you can't just target Stephon Gilmore. I'll say this. You can't bully him. Let me say that. You can't bully a Stephon Gilmore. He'll make you pay. He'll make you pay. So what do? You pick your poison. We ain't going to do that. We going to target DaRon Bland. Oh, wait. The dude who led the team in interceptions? Our best slot corner? F around. Find out. Mr. Danny Macho Man Randy Savage, what's up?
Oh, hold on 1 second.
I'll come back to. You want me to come back to you?
No, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
Listen, I'm excited. I'm ready to pop a blue chew. If the news about Zeke is true, if it is true, it's getting better by subtraction.
Yeah, addition by subtraction. I do actually.
Okay, good. Okay, good. Now to Gilmore. I like the Gilmore trade. We didn't get fleeced. But I am afraid this is the Jones Jedi mind trick.
Uh-oh.
Because I'm afraid of us resigning LVE, slam the door shut on Bobby Wagner.
Very likely.
I hope I'm wrong.
No, you're probably right.
I hope I'm wrong. So this is basically just we traded for the guy, and it's the Jones Jedi mind trick. It's like when gas goes up to $9 a gallon and then it goes back to $5, you're all happy. But it really should be $1. That's the Jedi mind trick. Now I'm gonna close this. I'm just excited, and I'm gonna land the plane real quick. Signing Gilmore, who do you think that kicks off the team? Kelvin Joseph, I heard he put out a tweet crying, but then took it down.
Yeah,
or Nashawn Wright. Who do you think is gone?
Oh, that's at this second, no one, right? I feel like you go into camp, it's a 90-man roster. You go into camp and you fight. You, like I said, you break that pool stick like the Joker and you say, fight. Best man win. I'm going into camp with everybody. Unless they go out and draft a guy, then you probably have to make a move, but you low-key can still do that. But as we speak right now, Danny, I feel like you don't kick anybody off the roster just quite yet.
No, I agree with you. And I'm out, but I'm just going to say this last thing. If Zeke does get cut, does that mean the great Zeke refused to take a pay cut after all the millions we gave him, after all the money Jerry spent on lawyer fees for him,
probably
fighting Goodell? Does that mean he said no, I'm not taking a pay cut? Let that sink into everyone's head.
No, you're probably right. And we had that conversation, right? Like if Zeke is offended by the number, hey man, we want you to play for $2 million. He's not going to do that. He probably can go get paid elsewhere. David Montgomery just got something like $6 million per year. So Zeke can probably go get that.
Do you honestly think another NFL team is going to pay him more than $5 million a year?
If David Montgomery got $6 million a year, I think Zeke can go get. And maybe that's why this is coming out. They finally got, the running backs got on the board yesterday with David Montgomery, and Zeke was probably given a number, and his agent probably looked at David Montgomery and said, no, if he's getting 6, my guy is getting at minimum 6 or more. And I'm pretty sure the Cowboys didn't offer him that.
Got it. All right, great show as always, man. I love the thing with Foots yesterday with the wide receivers.
We'll have more draft stuff, brother.
You got it, man. Listen to you guys later. You and Voch.
Yes, sir.
Talk to you later, guys. Bye.
Salute. Appreciate you, Danny. Danny brought up a good question. Who do you get rid of in that cornerback room? And again, this is your guys. These are your guys you're going to roll with right now. And some people are even saying Jordan Lewis. I'm surprised he didn't bring his name up. But these are your top 4 guys right now, not in the order, but you got Diggs, Gilmore, Lewis, and Bland. I'm not for getting rid of quality depth. I do view Jordan Lewis as quality depth. I'm not saying Jay Lewis him top this or that, but he's quality depth. Now you tell me we're going to get rid of Jay Lewis, we're going to sign Wagner with the money. Now we talking. But as for the back end guys, the Josephs of the world, the Nashawn Wrights of the world, it's very likely one of those dudes won't be on the team, Danny, and Cowboys Nation. It's very likely, but I say just let them battle it out. I'm not trying to cut nobody right now. Now, once we get to the draft, because here's the beauty of Stephon Gilmore 1-year deal and him being a veteran that he is. you don't have to necessarily rule out corner early. Maybe you could argue ruling it out round 1. Maybe, depending on who the pass catcher is there. But you could still take a cornerback in the first 2 days of the draft. Cornerback. But the way this thing is moving, signing the linebackers, trading for the corner, I feel like they are targeting a pass catcher. Maybe that tight end situation is closer to being realistic than not. Receiver is 100%, I think, on the board. So I saw somebody in the chat, and we're going to be going back and forth a lot today. Zeke news, Stephon Gilmore trade. It's going to be back and forth. Somebody in the chat brought up a name that is so crazy because I went back and watched a few runs of this guy. And I said, if people are steadfast on bringing in a veteran power back, does Jamal Williams make sense? Somebody in the chat said Jamal Williams and draft a guy. So Jamal Williams was better than Ezekiel Elliott last year. He was. He's he's about the same age, I'm sorry, as Zeke. Less miles than Zeke. They play a similar style as each other. They're very similar. Went to Spotrac. Looked at his market value. His average annual salary they're predicting is $4.1 million. Power back, scored 17 touchdowns. A lot of those were in the red zone, much like Zeke. But he had a number of big play runs. Had more pop. I think he's just as savvy at the line of scrimmage. Played with the Packers. Mike McCarthy tie. Jamal Williams a legitimate option to replace Zeke? Or is that contradictory to the I don't need to pay a running back, I'll draft one? That's a tough one. I mean, if you could legitimately get Jamal Williams for $4 million and your mentality is I'm all in, granted, I do believe you can get a rookie running back. I think you can battle, you can have a legitimate back and forth with yourself on rookie guy or that guy. Cowboys Nation, would you sign a Jamal Williams to pair with Tony Pollard and Malik Davis? Would you sign Jamal Williams? AZ said I'd get him. Chris said I love Williams. Oh snap, $4 million. That ain't bad. It ain't. Jamal Williams and Tony Pollard is money. Nick says Kareem Hunt. Lance says Jamal will be a good signing. God dang it, I think I'd do it. At that price, though. Am I going too crazy now? And probably something short. Now, what did he sign? I'm trying to look at his contracts. His contracts with Detroit. He signed a 2-year deal. Man, he signed that's a really 2-year, $6 million. I mean, hell yeah. What are we talking about here? Wait a minute. I don't know why I thought he signed for more than that. So 2 years, $6 million is coming off a 17 touchdown season, though. So that might hike it up a little bit, which is why you see $4 million per, not $3 million per. Yeah, I'm fighting with myself on this one. I'm 100%. I'll go into the draft and get me one of these young bucks. But if you haven't watched Jamal Williams play, he can play, man. The kid can play. That'd be interesting. I don't think they're going to do it though. You cut Ezekiel Elliott, they're not going. And you tag Tony Pollard. Let's get back to Cowboys reality. I don't think they're going to pay a running back in free agency. I think they're going to draft a guy. And I'm not about to be mad at that. That's kind of what I want anyway. But it was just something I thought about. Went back and looked at Jamal Williams and said, "Shit, it'd be nice on this team." All right, man. The phone lines are jam packed. I've been talking too much. Now it's time to let y'all talk. Let me get my good brother here. Mel, what's good, bro?
Oh my God! Oh, what a glorious day to be a Cowboys fan.
I knew you.
What a glorious day to be a Cowboys fan. Stephon Gilmore, yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Oh, you on the opposite side of this thing. Gilmore, yeah, whatever, man. But Zeke?
Yeah, that's cool. Dono, yeah, that's cool. That's whatever. Oh, but Zeke gone? Oh, yeah, baby.
Y'all ain't right.
No, man. I do think Danny probably is correct, though, because the way they're reporting it is likely to not be resigned. So that probably does tell me that they probably did offer him something, or there were some discussions about, what a pay cut would look like. And he probably was like, hey, this is the number. And they probably, started laughing. And he probably put the report out like, yeah, well, he probably not going to be here. So that's probably my guess on that. That he probably did maybe turn down a pay cut, because I do believe that they probably did want to bring him back, but he probably said no to any sort of pay cut.
I bet you Jerry did.
Yes.
You know
Oh, Jerry wanted to bring him back.
Yeah, I bet you Jerry wanted to bring him back.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he did.
I don't think Clay and his boys did though.
No. I think they've been watching probably Zeke for a long time decline, and probably are like, this is probably one of those where they really probably had to push Jerry in this direction. But man, no, on the Gilmore front, on the real, one of the things, Sky, we talked about all last season, bro, with the cornerback position. I don't care, and I know everybody started loving Anthony Brown once we saw how really just bad everyone else was. Like, he just wasn't one of the worst corners in the league. So we really started appreciating Anthony Brown more. But don't forget, man, Anthony Brown was still a mouse in the house. Like, on a week-to-week basis, he was still a mouse in the house.
Yeah, that goes to show very much like LVE, right? Where the issue wasn't okay. The issue was not just the player. At one point, LVE was an issue, y'all. At one point, and the same thing with AB. The issue wasn't just the player. The bigger issue was the depth. Like that's more of a problem with the depth than the play. Like, the player wasn't that great either in regards to AB. But think about how bad the depth was when we're like, shit, we missing AB. AB wasn't playing good ball. He wasn't.
Not at all. Not at all. I mean, and I know people are like, oh, every corner not gonna be everybody get beat. Man, he was getting toasted week to week.
You gotta have the ability to take in the information from whether it be from week to week or weeks of information. Yeah, he might have had a good game at one point, but it was the games that were piling up where it wasn't a guy that you can count on to not get beat throughout the game. And I know, everybody gets beat, like you said. Yeah, but he's giving up touchdowns, right? You cannot give up touchdowns and not make plays. I'll live with it if you make plays. You weren't making plays, man. And I wasn't one that was saying kick him off. I didn't want him to get hurt and be out for the season. I just wanted to say, okay.
No, you wanted him bent, though.
I wanted him kicked inside because we lost Jordan Lewis. I felt his confidence in play was shot on the outside. I did not trust the depth behind him. So I said, okay, move him inside, keep him as depth, give another guy a shot to get beat. And if he gets beat, at least you can slide AB back out there. But we didn't get a chance to see that.
Nah. But this move eliminates that. This move, and I'm one to always give people credit where it's due, man. Good job to the front office. Good job to the front office for getting this pulled off. I don't know who's responsible. I'll just say the front office in general. But good job to the front office for getting this pulled off. Because this is not one that fell in their lap. This is something that they had to go out and maneuver and get done, right? This wasn't like a free agent, like you said earlier. This was not what'd you say, Catboy? What'd you call it? Catboy criteria.
Catboy criteria. This was I need a new name for it though, but it was a Will McClay Catboy special. They've done this over the last half decade. Robert Quinn, Bennett, Everson Griffin, Hankins, Gilmore. They've traded these late round picks for these 30 plus veterans. And for the most part, Quinn, he hit, Bennett hit, Everson Griffin didn't work, but I don't think it's his fault. McCoy didn't work, Hankins hit, and let's see if we can get a hit from Stephon Gilmore. So it was something that is up their alley, but I'm hoping that this could have a bigger effect than all those dudes.
Yeah, out of all the guys you named, probably the one that comes close to is the guy we got from Miami, played the 1 year with
Quinn.
us, and then went to Chicago.
Robert Quinn.
Quinn, yes,
Yeah.
yes. I think this has that sort of potential because he's still probably, in my opinion, I would say one of the top 15 corners. I don't really get too much into that, but he's definitely still like a top corner in the league.
Oh,
man.
100%. If you go by, PFF grades, he was one of the top corners in the league last year. And if you go by analytics, he's still one of the best man corners in the league. Now, shout out to my guy, John Oney. Make sure to go read his breakdown on Stephon Gilmore. Where Gilmore struggled last year was in zone. Fortunately for Dallas, we play a ton of man.
We don't play that.
So,
yeah. Real quick, man, I don't agree much with what Foot's opinion on how to build a team, but damn, he is good at that draft stuff, boy.
One of the best.
That wide receiver breakdown, man, very, very enlightening, man. Really appreciate you bringing him on, man. I really feel like we're I don't want to use the word we're set on defense, but so far all of the moves we've made, well, really not moves. We really just re-signed our own guys.
There you go. And that's why I'm gonna celebrate. I'm gonna be happy about this acquisition, but I'm not going to fake the funk. I'm always about trying to get better. The Stephon Gilmore helps you get better on the outside, but I don't think you need to be done, right? Like, there's no need to be done here. You still got work to be done on the interior, in my opinion, and you can still do some work if you want at the backup position. And that's just defense I'm speaking about. We can go to the other side where we haven't done any work.
We got to get better on offense, man.
Yeah.
We got to get better on offense, man. Like, the offense has to get better. CD and Tony Pollard cannot be your only two reliable weapons on offense. We cannot go another season with that.
Yeah.
So, I'm starting to come around to the idea that if he's there, I know I'm about to get shot in the head. I'm almost coming around to the idea that if Bijan Robinson is there at 26, I might pull the trigger only because you just don't have a lot on offense. Talk me out of it, but I'm starting to come around to the idea because he may be the best offensive player there.
I can't talk anybody out of Bijan at 26. Like, I think the conversation completely different from 4th overall to 20. You're picking second round guys, and you're picking damn near in the second round. I'm not going to sit here and get all up in arms over that. I'm just not. Is running back a position I'm targeting in the first round at that pick? No. But if a guy like Bijan falls to you, am I going to sit here and get mad that you picked that beast? Absolutely not. And maybe it's similar also, like, people don't want to draft tight end. Me, I don't want to draft a tight end in the first round. But the one caveat always was, if you take care of your business in free agency and you draft this tight end and this tight end is going to be a feature option in your offense, I can't complain about that. But if you draft this damn tight end and he's just going to be tight end 2, or he's just going to be, the Dalton Schultz-esque, then I'm going to be a little pissed off about that. So we need to know how they're going to use these guys. What are going to be what's going to be their role in the offense before I get all upset. But there's so much work to be done, man. Cowboys, you're not finished.
Yeah, man. Thanks for letting me in, bro. Tap in. I know we got a bunch of calls, bro. Yeah. Man, keep doing your thing. Great talking to you this morning, brother.
Salute, man. Yeah, it's going to be so tricky at 26. Another thing that wouldn't make me get upset is if the approach is all in, like free agency trades. Also, if we're having this all in approach, I'm picking at 20. We're picking at 26. That's all I'm saying. That dude's a freak of nature. I don't even see him lasting to 26. There are exceptions to the rules. I ain't going to sit here and be like, you never do it. That's Mel Kiper. You never do it. A lot of people say you never do it. I'm not going to fight you, man. Because history has shown that it's very up and down. Now, history has also shown tight end in the first round is just as bad. So those two positions to me aren't the positions that I'm targeting in the first round. Still like O-line. If a cornerback falls, I'm not going to be mad at corner, because Stephon Gilmore ain't going to be here forever. He ain't going to be here until after next year. Wide receiver. Come on, man. Tackle. Defensive tackle. Now, position historically Cowboys don't draft in the first round, but it's a lot, man. It's a whole lot that has to happen between now and then. And then the board, 25 picks, 24, because we're Miami Dolphins situation. 24 picks have to be made before you. That's what makes being 26 so tough. You just gotta sit back and be like, all right, man, let's see what happens here, and then evaluate from there. Woo-wee. Man, the news just keeps breaking this morning. Breaking news. The Philadelphia Eagles are cutting Darius Slay. I don't watch Eagle content creators, but I would love to know if they've been plugging in and hearing what's going on down there. You brought back Bradbury. Cut Darius Slay. Ouch. Ain't my problem. All right, let's get. It's too many. I don't even know if we're gonna be able to get everybody. I'm gonna try to get as many as I can. My Reading brother. Good morning, good sir.
Good morning, and God bless you in the show and the family like always.
Thank you.
I'm very happy with that Gilmore thing. I think that he's going to help a lot on that defensive side, and he's going to help a lot of the other corners because he still got a lot in his tank still.
Yes, he does.
And also, too, I'm glad that they brought back Donovan Wilson, the hitman. I think he's going to even put up a better year this year. And I think Gilmore's even going to be better this year with the front seven that we got. And Teron Diggs is going to be able to get a lot of picks now because now it's going to be, like you said, pick your poison. And I think Dallas is doing a good move. Hopefully they can do one of those surprise moves like they did with Gilmore and pick up D. Hopkins, and we'll be on our way.
Yeah, D. Hop's the one I would love, but I'm definitely not going to put my hopes into that happening. Right? Like I don't foresee that happening. But there's other options. There are other options.
Or at least get a OBJ, somebody that can really help CD Lamb, because I think if we get a receiver that can help CD Lamb, and we get like somebody on the line, I think we can make the run. I really do.
Indeed, man. Appreciate the call, man.
All right, have a good one like always, and God bless you in the show and your boy Voss, and y'all keep on doing your good work. Y'all really do good work, my brothers.
Thank you, fam. We put in the work. Tell you that much. Let's get my guy B. Good to hear from you today, B.
What's happening with you, my G?
What's up with you?
Oh man, nothing, man. Just chilling, man. Getting ready to hit this gym, but have to tap in with you, man, after that news yesterday. But I just heard you say that the Eagles cut Slay.
Yeah, I mean, according to Adam Schefter, the Philadelphia Eagles are releasing whatever, cutting. I don't know if it's June. It doesn't matter. Ain't my problem. Darius Slay.
It's crazy because yesterday I read somewhere that the Eagles had reached out to the Cowboys to see if they may be interested in trading for Slay.
Yeah, that was strange. So it was.
Yeah,
it was
told me right then and there.
It was Archer who
he was gone, but
well, Archer came out and said something similar, but then he came back and was like, "Well, I'm not saying that the Eagles called the Cowboys, but the Cowboys and Eagles were inquiring about Darius Slay." So Archer kind of
okay, yeah. Would you rather have Slay or Gilly?
Gilmore, because I looked at Darius Slay's contract. Now I understand if you trade for him, the cap hit comes down a little bit more. But I think he has something like
saying all things.
Well, I can't do all things considered because that's not the Cowboys don't operate all things considered.
Yeah, I feel you.
Man,
I don't know. I think I probably say Gilly.
Yeah.
But
I wouldn't be mad at either order, bro. Yeah, I wouldn't be mad at either. I'd have been happy.
You know the things I love about this deal, bro, the most is the fact that we didn't hear anything about it. That's the thing that I love the most. It was no rumors.
Well,
there was no.
That was a trade.
Cowboys
that was a trade, though, bro. Like that. Look again. I pull up this graphic. You stopped me when you thought you heard about this. Jonathan Hankins. Did you hear a bunch of rumors before it happened? No. Everson Griffin. You know, they were trying to get Everson Griffin, but it wasn't like they was shunning Everson Griffin. They courted Robert Quinn. Bennett just happened. Joe McCoy was afraid. So when they're trading for guys like this, there's not ever negative media that comes out. They're actually trying to pump these dudes up to get them. So I think we're looking at that wrong. When they're trying to sign their own, or when they're trying to be in negotiations with big contracts of their own, that's when you hear about, hey man, Maury Cooper, he don't like to practice. Zeke, he's in Cabo.
Correct. But you know what? It still defeats but it still works against you when you trying to get rid of Amari Cooper. Why are you letting everybody know that you want to get rid of him?
Right. That's
that's
where the problem happens when you hear stuff. But when they're acquiring these type of guys, I don't think there's an issue if you hear stuff.
Yeah, and I just loved it regardless, man. And I didn't even know that they were pursuing a cornerback in trade market. We all over here thinking it's something that's something that they're gonna pursue in the draft potentially in the first maybe 1 or 2 rounds, man. But I just love that. The fact that we heard nothing about it, and they just went in, locked in, and got the deal done, man. Obviously, Gilly is going to provide that veteran presence in the secondary that I think was needed last year from a standpoint of a guy that can still play. And he's not just a guy out there. All he needs to come in and do, to me, in my opinion, is be better than Anthony Brown. If he's better than Anthony Brown,
he's 100% gonna be better than him.
You know what I'm saying? That's all he needs to be. We don't need him to come in and have these expectations of him being better than Diggs or this or that. If he is, he is. But 1 year, $8 million, come in here and ball out
11
be better than Anthony Brown. And
11 on the cap.
Man, I'm just loving that. Yeah, and I'm just loving the whole idea. But one thing I saw that irritated me a little bit. As soon as we get somebody. And that makes the depth crazy, right? Everybody want to cut somebody. Well, we can cut Jordan Lewis now. And I'm just like, after what happened last year,
right?
You want to go ahead and cut somebody. I'm like, the Cowboy fans, man, sometimes they can irritate the hell out of me because they want you to get depth, and then they want you to cut somebody as soon as they get a guy like a Gilmore. No, keep Jordan Lewis. Make DaRon Bland beat out Jordan Lewis because, remember, he didn't do that last year, and although he played well,
wait a minute, bro, B, he was better than Jordan Lewis in camp. He was,
but he didn't play a lot on the outside
in preseason.
I mean, in the inside.
Yeah, he did.
He didn't play a lot on the inside.
Yeah, he did.
In preseason, did he?
Yeah, he was good.
I don't remember. I know he played real good on the outside,
bro.
I remember them Charger practices specifically, but.
The conversations were happening. People were talking about DaRon Bland supplanting Lewis in camp in preseason. They were. But I agree with you, though.
Anthony Brown.
Nah, it was actually AB was pretty solid, believe it or not, in camp. I know it's crazy, right? How that works. But
right.
The thing about, you're right, people do want to, that's the first thing they said. Well, cut Jordan Lewis. Well, my retort would be, and then what? Like we can't just about cut this person, trade that. But what is the solution? What do you do after? And that's why I said earlier, okay, cool. You want to cut Jordan Lewis and you want to save $4 million on the cap? Are we using that $4 million to go get a receiver? Are we using that $4 million to get a good interior D lineman, a linebacker? Are we using that money to go get better? If not, and we just going to sit on the cap, absolutely not. I'm not cutting Jordan Lewis. He ain't costing you a lot of money on the cap, and he gives you depth. He's quality depth, and I'm never for just getting rid of quality depth if you're not going to use said money to go get better.
Right. And potential
unless the player is just not good at all. But anyway.
A potential starter at corner for right at $4 million on your cap, and you want to get rid of that, that's cheap in the NFL.
Yeah.
And he has a lot of experience.
He has $4 million. What are we doing?
Right. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to get rid of a good player that Dan Quinn openly raves about. If if there's anybody that can figure out how to use all four of those guys, it's DQ. And I'm not trying to get rid of a good thing, because we got another good player. So that's my 2 cents, man. I think it's going to work out. obviously, I love the move, and I'm just sitting back. I don't have no expectations for the off season. I'm doing what we said last year, dog. Just sit back, watch, collect information, and when it's done, then go ahead and sit here and give a grade. So let's just see how the rest of this preseason or this free agency period work out, man, and then we go from there and headed into the draft, man. But
indeed,
it's always good to talk to you, my G.
Yes, sir. Appreciate the call, man. I saw in the chat
right,
somebody said cut AB and sign, or cut J. Lou and sign Darius Slay. Dream team. Nah, man, that ain't happening. Yeah, man, look, and that's the other thing too. We don't get anything by cutting him but the cap. If you ain't gonna use the cap, then what are we doing? Trading. You know, I would dangle him for a trade in that instance. Go get me some picks and the cap relief. 2 for 1. But at this point in time, I don't think I would do it. You know, after the draft, might be a different story. Maybe you draft one of them stud corners, and now we're talking. Now this makes more sense. But as we stand after watching the Cowboys go through what they went through in regards to the cornerback depth, I'm not ready just cut everybody or get rid of everybody before we even see the finished product of the room. Not just yet. All right, let me lock these up. It's going to be a long one today, so y'all better stick with me. Let's get to Lamont real quick. What's up, Lamont?
Hey, what's good, Sky?
What's up with you?
Hey, so I thought about something that a lot of people haven't been thinking about either. You don't have to going to cut bait with Gilmore after this year. If anything, since Malik Hooker's in his last year, you could possibly transition Gilmore to free safety and draft yourself a first-round corner this year to learn underneath Gilmore.
I don't have enough information to know if safety is a position for Gilmore. Right? I don't know how many safety snaps he's played. I don't know if he has any intentions of playing safety. He's a fantastic player, but he ain't no Charles Woodson. So I don't know about transitioning a 33-year-old corner to safety unless he Charles Woodson. So I don't have enough information on that one yet. Especially, you would probably be a progress stopper, right? If you are into a Izzy, right? Israel McQuamel. If you're into Marquise Bell, but more so Izzy. Don't know about that one, Lamont. I would have to do more research on the potential of that.
Okay, I hear you on that.
Yeah.
And I was gonna say, I think we should I know this year has been a little bit different for the Cowboys. Maybe this year they might actually draft a Mozzie Smith with pick 26 and try to going to build as much talent in the middle as they can to make sure they stop the run and force teams to pass, which is, I think would be smart if Cowboys did that. They're going to get yourself a nice one tech and still bring back John.
Oh, yes. You're talking to me now. You're talking to me. I would not. I would be actually celebrating on draft day. Now, obviously, it depends who's on the board, but to me, that would show me that they're adapting from an old adage that they had, which is we don't draft defensive tackles high. Now, they did draft Tristan Hill high, and he's a 3-tech with pass rush ability, so that's different. But Mozzie Smith, I think he can do both. I think he can give you some little bit pass rush, and he could be a dominant run defender too. So I would be all aboard him at 26 because now you are putting cornerstones, young cornerstones at each position of your defense. You're talking about interior with Smith. You're talking about on the exterior with, let's just be real, it's Mike Parsons. the cornerback position with Diggs, and then you still got some quality veterans around now with the D-Laws and J-Ron Curses and the Stephon Gilmores, the LVEs. So absolutely, I'd be down for that.
Okay, and my last thing before I let you go, I would like to see Dallas on offense, like you said, bringing in Jamal Williams. If it takes it, bro, I would like to see them sign him to like maybe a 2-year deal for like maybe $5 to $6 million. I think that gets him into the building.
I think he'd sign that immediately. According to his market value, it's $4 million per year. So you pay him 5 or 6, you're paying him above what. Again, that's just what Spotrac is saying. But Hey, if they get him for a cheap deal, yeah, I ain't gonna complain about it. But if they get him for anything over what what's his name, David Montgomery wanted, or really at David Montgomery, I'm good.
All right, bro.
All right, man. Yeah, I'm at the point at 26. Obviously, who's on the board? That's the sucky part about being at 26. Who's on the board? At 26, if you're quote unquote wiped out, which you ain't gonna be, but if you are wiped out, who is the best fit for my team from position of need, but also the best player position of need that I think I can get the most out of now? We brought this up yesterday. The Cowboys aren't in a position because they don't do the free agency and trade things on a consistent basis. They aren't in a position to be like, yep, we're going to draft this guy and we're going to hope he pans out by year 3. Not in that position, man. So find me the guy that can come in day 1 and be an impact player. And it's a first round pick. What are we talking about, right? Like first round picks have to do that any goddamn way. But day 1 that can come in, start for me, impact my defense, offense, whatever, help other guys around them based off their talent, and have the potential to be here a long time. They got to check all those boxes for me at 26. All right, we getting through these things. 618. What's good?
Yo. How you doing?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
I'm doing great. All right. I'm really excited about the Stephon Gilmore signing. Him and Trayvon are going to go crazy next year. We need to go get a receiver, a veteran receiver, and then get a receiver in the draft for sure. When it comes to the Zeke, hey man, I appreciate everything he did on our team. He put his body on the line every play with those 8-man boxes he had to run through. But I really think Cowboys Nation just needs to stop with the hating and being super happy that he's gone and just appreciate what he did for our franchise while he was here. He had a good 4-year stretch. But I wish him luck onto what if he goes to another team or if he retires or whatever. But yeah. But I was just on Twitter and I'd be seeing a lot of Eagles fans trying to big up Zeke right now, saying they should sign him, trying to say that he'll run the East. They are. I
do think that's a good
really
fit.
Thirsty for Zeke.
I ain't gonna lie.
Thirsty for Zeke. And then they got rid of Slay. I don't understand why they would get rid of Slay but keep Bradbury, someone that CeeDee Lamb owns. Like he's gotten like 3 or 4 touchdowns on him. Like I think that's the dumbest. But I'm not mad though.
Yeah, that's their problem. That seems to be a bit backwards to me. And again, maybe they know something we don't know in that. Maybe it's the age they're worried about. They couldn't work out. Excuse me. They couldn't work out a restructure. I was looking at Adam Schefter. They tried to restructure the contract and they couldn't do it, so they got rid of him.
Yeah, but I'm really wondering if the Eagles really did call Jerry. I'm wondering what they would trying to offer him for Slay. Probably like a 2nd-round pick or something like that. But I guarantee when Jerry heard that, he just hung up the phone. He's like, screw this. Stephon Gilmore's right here.
Jerry ain't picking up the phone. But you're right. Whoever, Stephen Jones heard that and was like, nah, I'm good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's all I got to say. I'm just go get a receiver, and then we can get best player available in the draft, whether it's lineman, receiver, corner.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And that's a point I want to touch on real quick. Good call, man. What's your name?
Yeah, Chris.
Chris. All right, man. Chris from where? Because we got a lot of Chris's.
Oh, Alaska.
Oh, Chris from all the way from Alaska, man. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
All right, man.
All right.
Peace.
You have a good day, sir. Right,
you
bye.
as well. Hey, yo, I could change names now. Something was wrong. I updated it. We good, so I could fix the name. So I'm gonna have to fix that. Man, I lost my train of thought. Oh, basically making sure that we get to the draft and are able to draft best player available, a position in need, but best player available type situation. That still is very much a Cowboy thing, and we're only on day 3 now. They brought back 2 guys and traded for another guy, so they're working their way. They got the linebacker, they got the safety, and which was honestly that really wasn't addressing a position of need. and they got the corner. I don't think they're done. I do think they want to go into this draft at least signing a wide receiver. And we talked about receivers yesterday. I think I even hit up Professor O earlier. I said, if we're going to go ahead and go all in on, 30 plus vets, then go bring back T.Y. Go get Odell Beckham. If they're not going to trade for a D-Hop, there are still wide receivers out there that I think you could put on this roster to at least address the position. Now, are these Odell Beckham is a bit of a needle mover. T.Y. is a better needle mover than the Catboy criteria guys. But I do think you should add these veteran dudes who might look at the Cowboys, look at Dan Quinn, look at Mike McCarthy, the direction, and say, yo, they're trying to go for it. Maybe I can go there for, like Coach Marv said, a little bit less money to try to win this thing. Is this Rachel? What you talking about? See, sometimes I don't. Why you want me to stay off the volume, CT Madhead? Damn. What's good, 214?
Hello?
Yes, sir. You are live.
Hey, Sky. How's it doing, man?
All right.
Excited, man. I feel like we're finally kind of changing, I guess, our mindset with how we run the offseason and free agency. I just wanted to ask your thoughts. Do you think that this is now the best, I don't want to say cornerback duo and limit it to that, but just secondary in the league at this point with the 3 safeties we got and then the honestly great depth we have at corner and Gilmore and Diggs and Bland? I think you can rotate Gilmore and Bland from slot to outside corner, but
is it the
I was
best?
Just wondering your thoughts on. Yeah, is it the best secondary do you think in the NFL that we built?
I don't know everybody's secondary like I know the Cowboys secondary, but I'd be hard pressed to think this is not a top 5 secondary.
Okay.
Gilmore.
Okay,
I put Bland up there. Diggs, and you got the 3-headed monster at safety. I mean, how is this not a top 3 secondary? Again, I don't know the rest of the league, but I think it's up there.
100%. Do you think? Because what I'm thinking with Bland is that with Diggs, his rookie season, he had a bunch of up and downs, which is obvious for a rookie. That's going to happen. But with Bland, he was a ball hawk his rookie year. Obviously, he had his downs. But do you see the same type of jump that Diggs had in year 2 from year 1? With Bland happening.
Ooh, I would love that.
You know what I mean?
That's tough, but shit. Diggs went from 3 interceptions to 11. Bland get 5. You got Gilmore.
Well, I'm not saying 11 interceptions.
Right.
Bland, but
but yeah,
like that.
I mean,
we're improving.
If we being honest, DaRon Bland might be in an even better situation than Diggs was in year 2.
100%. That's what I was thinking.
So that's very possible. Yeah.
All right, and then so I know we're probably cutting Zeke, and it's probably going to be a post-June cut to get us $10 million in cap after June. But is there a way, something about restructuring or working with Tyron's contract to get us up from $4 million cap space that we got right now to maybe sign a Wagner? Because I know I love LVE. That re-signing was a steal in free agency, but I would love to see Wagner added to that linebacking group to bolster what we're already building as a huge strength on defense. And then just draft receiver or sign a Mecole Hardman for speed.
Ooh, I would love to get
or something like that.
Yeah, they could mess with Tyron Smith. I don't know what exactly they're trying to do with Tyron Smith's contract, whether it be rip it up or whether it be just a flat out restructure. But it sounds like they're trying to keep him. And based off of letting McGovern go, not being in on Shaq Mason, it feels like Tyron Smith is returning. I did see a weird report, though, that, and I can't remember who it was from, that they're expecting or they're wanting to keep Tyler Smith at left tackle. That don't add up to me.
Yeah.
You know?
No, it doesn't.
Because if that's the case, why are you keeping a Tyron Smith? But maybe they're saying, look, we re-signed the linebacker. We re-signed the safety. We traded for the corner. We did all that without touching Tyron Smith's contract. Let's wait till the draft gets here. See if we can get a left side player. If we get a left side player, now we can decide to make a move on Tyron Smith. If we don't, we just slide Tyron Smith at left tackle and move Tyler Smith at left guard. Tyron left tackle, Tyler left guard. So I think they're playing the patience game with Tyron Smith due to the position and the lack of depth they got.
Yeah, it seems like they're playing the patience game with the whole entire offensive line, which isn't necessarily bad because I wanted to see a move on happen from McGovern. Are you open to taking, let's say we do sign a Mecole Hardman or, address a little bit, even if it's not the biggest splash.
It's like a TY or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, just something. Would you be open to, and I love Ferguson, but would you be open to a Dalton Kincaid or Darnell Washington at pick 26?
I said this before. I just need to know what's their role going to be, man. I'm not tight end round one fan unless I know unless their role is going to be featured. You know what I'm saying? But hey, I also said if they address the corner, if they address the receiver, if they address XYZ, now we're talking about best player available. If those dudes are best player available, let's roll. Washington to me makes a lot of sense because of the blocking ability and then the 6'7", the length, the red zone, all that stuff. From a pure receiving threat, Kincaid makes the most sense. And now let's use Kincaid as that detached guy, put him in the slot, and now he's quote unquote a slower weapon, but a mismatch for linebackers that are on him. So it really depends. And they're two different dudes. Like you gotta have two different plans for these dudes. So if Kincaid's the guy, you gotta have a totally separate plan than if Washington's the guy. And right now, it's just a big fat question mark on what this offense is going to be. So I think there's going to be other guys on the board that I think you come in here and you have a better plan for that I know of. They're going to know what to do with these guys. I don't know what you're going to do with a Kincaid or Washington because we don't even know what this offense is going to look like.
All right. Well, shoot, man. Freaking, I'll let you go. I know you got a ton of callers, and it's a big, busy day.
We winding down, though. We winding down.
Okay, yeah.
It's a good call, though. What's your name?
Charlie.
Charlie. Last name Wilson?
No. Charlie Pettigrew. But I'm the dude from Abilene. I'm in the military right now.
Charlie P. Appreciate you, Charlie. You ain't had to give me your last name. But appreciate you, dog.
All right. Yes, sir. Have a good one, man.
You as well. That's how you know who are Gap Band fans, Charlie Wilson fans. Charlie. Last name Wilson. Two more callers. Let's get to 860.
Sky, what's good, baby? It's your boy from Hartford. How you doing?
What's up, man? From where?
Hartford, Connecticut.
Hartford, Connecticut. This is another Twan, right?
Antoine.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We got a lot of Antoines on the show. What up, man?
No, I definitely do. I love that. I'm happy about the Gilmore pick. I'm real happy about the Gilmore pick. That shows we're doing something and we're addressing issues. And Steven don't usually do shit like that this early, especially in the free agency, even though it's a trade. You feel me? So yeah. I'm happy about that. Now I'm just thinking we go after receiver. Honestly, let's go. Let's see if we can go get D-Hop and really get it done. Him or Cooks, but I would more so rather D-Hop and then draft the offensive lineman in the first round. How you feel about that?
It's so many options, man, and it's not something I'm against. You go get you a D-Hop. Come on, man. And then you draft a left side guy. Yep, sign me up. Do I think they going trade for a D-Hop? Surprise me, Cowboys Nation, because I don't think they will.
Exactly. I feel the same way. So with that being said, do you go offensive lineman first in the draft, or do you go receiver? Because I remember we had a conversation and we both like Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Yes, indeed.
But then I heard you say you like Zay Flowers.
Yes,
more.
indeed.
I don't agree with that. Bro.
Oh well. Let's. Zay Flowers is my pet cat, But Jackson Smith and Jigba is such a fantastic fit, I think, here as a route technician, sure-handed guy. but Zay just so damn explosive, and you already got kind of two possession-ish receivers, right? So I look at Zay as a great yin-yang to those guys. So complementary piece to those guys. So I would be ecstatic to have either one. So yeah, I mean, look, give me JSN, give me Zay, and let's roll. But at 26 though, bro, it's appreciate you, man. At 26 though, again, like I said earlier, it's so much that happens before you get to your pick that is hard to think about what you want, because what I want, there may be somebody better there. And then doing what I do, you can't trip, right? You can't go crazy because you got to wait for the rest of the situation to play out. For instance, Tyler Smith, other guys were on the board that I wanted. I hate to use the word defeated, but he wasn't a guy that got me to go crazy when they drafted Tyler Smith. But then I said, okay, not the guy I wanted, but this makes sense. This makes sense. He has upside. He has the physicality, smart guy, all that good stuff. Then you hear him talk and you just like, man, he got the mental too. He got the determination, right? So you do got to kind of wait back. Taco Charlton, Bobby Carpenter, guys like that, maybe you can already decide on. But does it make sense? Whatever the pick is, does it make sense? And then let's evaluate it after we go through our normal fan emotions, bro. We're going to have emotions. Whoever they pick, there's not a chance in hell the Cowboys fans are going to be down with it. But then once that's gone, now ask yourself, does it make sense? And how does it make sense? And how can we get better because of this pick? Send us out, 205.
What's happening with the Sky?
Come on, now I can change the name now. What up, landlord? This is the perfect dude to end the call segment with. Landlord from Wakanda.
Sir.
What's up?
What's happening with you, man? Hey, I've been patiently waiting, man, but it's worth it, man. You've been putting on a good show, sir.
See, I didn't know it was you, but guess what? Now I do, because I could change the names. What's up?
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. But look, bro, Cowboy fans, I see some of us just won't be happy, period, like regardless of what happens.
They mad
but
at this.
I'm here to tell you, bro. Since the news dropped, bro, I done watched almost every game of Stephon Gilmore. You know, we put in the work. Yes. I've been watching everything, Sky. No lie, man. And then you know something that I see a lot of people ain't touching on. See, I know we going to get film sessions from everywhere. We know that. Yep. We got 1,400 Cowboy content creators, so everybody's doing film. But some I seen nobody touch on just yet. If you want to see how he do with the Cowboys, you know what the best thing to do? Watch him against the NFC East. He played the whole NFC East.
Just don't put on the Washington film.
He put on the whole look. He played. He almost. You know, I seen what you call it. He gave up plays against Scary Terry.
Yeah, Scary
but
Terry.
Look, this is something you got to think about, Sky. He was playing basically decent as a number one cornerback.
Yeah, we don't need to put him on Scary
Terry.
Terry.
He was checking. Yeah, he won't be on Scary Terry with us, and he was on a bad defense. The coach ranked like 28. Then outside of the NFC East, think about this. This, like you said, this man ain't gave up nothing but 2 touchdowns for the last since 2018, 2017. He don't do that. And then one thing you got to realize too, he played the Vikings. That's the best receiver in football. He played the Raiders. He won a game against Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
He played the Chiefs. He was playing Kelsey. He was checking Kelsey some on that game.
Was you here earlier? Well, if you was on the phone, you probably wouldn't have been able to hear it. But
yeah, I was listening. You know, when you watch a film, you just can't. I'm listening, but I just went interact.
I'm talking about because on the phone you can't hear what I'm playing through my streaming service, and we played some audio of him and a little bit of video of him playing against Devontae Adams, and that's the reason why I picked this specific video is because you're talking about maybe the best receiver in the NFL. And he had
was early in the stream. I seen that. Seen that.
He had the play of the game against the best receiver in the NFL. He had some good plays against Minnesota, even though obviously Minnesota came back in that game. But he had some really quality play. The film speaks for itself. I mean, the film speaks for itself. The numbers speak for itself. There's there's nothing that you can look at Stephon Gilmore's play and say he's washed, or if that's the word people are trying to use. The dude is still a very good cornerback. Is he elite defensive player of the year? No. But he don't need to be that when he's playing opposite of Diggs, because he's going to be going up against your number twos.
Facts. The only weak area he has is the same one that all DBs have, is that's tackling. He ain't trying to tackle too many people at his older age. But he was, like, if you bring him to smoke, he'll go ahead and tackle you. But, you know, he ain't going across the field to get into nothing. You know what I'm saying?
It's funny because he actually talked about going up against Sutton from Denver, and Sutton gave him a mean stiff arm, but he got him down. And he was like, it didn't look good on film, but that actually gave me some juice, because I'm like, oh, okay. All right, I'm here. You here? I'm here. Let's go. He had a mean stiff arm. But another thing that he, is not his strong suit right now is zone. Like, he wasn't that great in zone, but fortunately for him, we play a lot of man coverage. So we play to his strength, and I think that he's a great combination. He's a great yin yang to Trayvon Diggs, where Diggs is an aggressive guy. He complements Diggs so well by being more of a technician on the other side. So they're going to be I think they're going to be a top 5 duo to deal with.
This finna be gangster, Sky.
Yep.
I'm going to tell you straight up, look, I just seen him go against A.J. Brown, and he was not shabby at all. Now, I'll say this. A couple of the alignments that got A.J. Brown open. But when it was just straight mano-a-mano, like bump and run Gilly, it was nothing. It was nothing. I'm telling you straight up, he was blanketing him.
Now, I know
and
this
is
is
A.J. Brown, and we gonna have him at cornerback 2, Sky. That's all I'm saying.
Man, I think Diggs can deal with AJ, but the problem is they was moving him around. You know how the Eagles do, right? They like to get their guys off bump run. But if you guys remember, man, you shut down Amari Cooper. Now, that was years ago. You know what I'm saying? That was years ago. But he's done this.
He got a pick on Dak this year.
Yeah. Yeah.
He got a pick on Dak this year.
He's been there, done that.
See, if you look at that Cowboys game, that's more along the lines of where we gonna have him, because he was pretty much guarding Michael Gallup the whole game. So you mean to tell me I'm gonna have bump and run Gilly playing cornerback 2? That's what I'm saying. Real talk, he's still like that. He's still a great instinctive player. He still demands a certain amount of respect. When I watched that Patrick Mahomes game, bro, Pat wasn't even looking his way much. Even when he was on Kelsey. Yeah. Pat was like, nah, I'm gonna go this way. You know what I'm saying? Now, not to say that he didn't allow no separation or he wasn't an option, but you know what I'm saying? Most human beings gonna take the path of least resistance. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I probably shouldn't go over
the teams all year was doing that. They said, I'm not going to Diggs. Well, y'all got AB and Nashawn Wright and Kelvin Joseph over there. And then when Diggs got lulled to sleep,
doomed.
Then they, boom, hit him with a double
Now
move.
they doomed.
Yeah,
now they doomed. There's going to be a lot of throwaways, a lot of intentional grinders. We're going to have them on IG. Intentional grinders. It's going to be a lot of, it's going to be a lot of panicking. And I'm telling you right now, if we can get a defensive tackle, I was just about to say this guy, we can get a defensive tackle, sir. Man, Michael Parsons might have about 22, 23 sacks this year. It's going to be ugly. You mean to tell me you giving Michael an extra tick to get to the quarterback? Because the quarterback going to look Diggs way, then he going to look Gilmore way, then he going to try to look Bland way, and it's going to be all doomed.
And that's the beauty of the chicken and egg conversation, and that we didn't really give enough credit to the coverage at times in 2021 as well as last year, especially beginning of the year. Listen, we had a fantastic pass rush, but there were a lot of times where there were coverage sacks happening. So just imagine if you already got a fantastic pass rush and now your coverage is better. There's going to be more coverage sacks. There's going to be more panicking, and you're going to have these quarterbacks just throwing up YOLO balls or tip passes or possibly, hopefully, sack fumbles from holding the ball more. I mean, the domino effect of having a Stephon Gilmore who's playing at a high level, it goes beyond, like I said, the play. It goes with his mentality, and I think that trickles down to the rest of the defense.
And that's one more point. That's really, if you think about it, even though, the LVE move wasn't as popular amongst the Cowboy Nation, but if he got any strong suit with the K, I say strong with the K. If he got any strong suit, you know what I'm saying? If he got any strong suit, we would have to say it's in coverage.
Yep.
He's a tall dude that's gonna get in your way, basically. I ain't saying that he got the hips of a corner or nothing like that, but I'm saying that he's gonna clog up, huh?
He got some weird fluidity to him when in zone
for
coverage.
his size.
Yeah, in zone coverage though. I ain't talking about in man coverage.
I'm just saying like he's gonna clog up some passing lanes.
Yeah,
that's what you want to see from a corner. I mean, a linebacker.
I wrote on Twitter when they signed LVE. I said I thought LVE did some of his best work in coverage in 2022. You got to beef up the interior D line to bring out the best in him via the run. Look, if you're talking about LVE covering, I will sing his praises. If you're talking about LVE playing against the run, I'm going to say help him. Help me.
Look, now all we need now is a defensive tackle. Yeah. We need defensive line help, and this defense is scarce.
Oh, the defense is the top 3 defense
we
next
need,
year.
Look, I'm almost on the verge of making a name for it. Like, it's like that. We like that to me. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't even if you low on this defense, name me 2 holes we got. Name me 2 holes we got on this defense right now.
I'm going to pause.
We just filled up.
I'm going to pause on the name because I got it.
Almost.
I know. Well, here's why, though. It ain't because of the lack of. It's just because of what we saw happen last year, right? Like, we were ready to name the defense. We were ready to there was people talking about 85 Bears. There was people talking about sack records. It was, we was all in like this defense is like that. And then it got worn down. Then the attrition started to happen with injuries, and then we couldn't figure out how to adapt. Quinn tried everything he could, and it was like, all right, okay, they came back down to earth. I'm gonna let the season play out before I give them any name because I don't want 6-7 games of top level defense. I think we got the potential if they really go through with this thing with grabbing a defensive tackle, attacking more corners or linebackers, whatever, going all in. Now we got a potential to have one of them ones, but I'm going to reserve myself. I'm going to wait and let this thing play out because I got fooled a little bit last year.
Listen, though, Scott, I got a perfect explanation to why, though.
Oh, I just gave the explanation.
You want to know why that happened?
I'm talking about injuries. I'm talking about attrition.
No. I'm talking about why the defense didn't appear to be the same way down the stretch.
That's what I was just saying.
Huh?
That's what I mean. I did say that. I said it within my explanation. I said, attrition. You talk about injury, talk about attrition. I mean, they lost the LVEs, the Hankins, the ABs, the J. Lews. They lost J. Ron Curse. They lost a lot of people, and then they relied on that pass rush, and their pass rush kind of, topped off. It stopped being the elite pass rush because they weren't able to cover as good as they were before, and teams were able to throw it. I mean, there's explanations. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I was about to say, I really think one of the keys, though, that I think you kind of missed on was you got to think our play style changed, too. That's why it's one of the biggest things that Mike McCarthy is talking about now. You see, one of his points of emphasis was complementary football.
Sure.
And that's what he was playing with Cooper Rush. That's why your defense looked 100% different.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I
don't think
agree with that the defense was different because they were playing quote unquote complementary football. The offense was one of the worst offenses in time of possession and third down conversion. So technically your defense was out there more. I think in the back half of the year, the reason why you didn't get the Cooper Rush defense for Dak Prescott is because he quite literally didn't have those players. That's just
and
facts.
Michael was banged up too, though.
Who?
We weren't even running. Michael was banged up down the stretch.
Right, because when Dak Prescott came back, even with the interceptions, the Cowboys were one of the top teams in third down conversion rate. And their time of possession actually went up from being one of the worst to kind of floating around the middle of the pack until it was kind of bouncing up and down. So, yes, what you're saying.
Like we was running more with Cooper, though. We weren't running more with Cooper.
The Cowboys did not win time. The Cowboys did not win time of possession for like 7 of the first 8 games, something crazy like that. It was wild.
Good grief. It just seemed like it was way more conservative with Cooper Rush, though.
Yes.
That style of play played more to the defense. That's what I'm saying.
That's not, you're not wrong. The offense was conservative. Yeah. Like that's not wrong. But the defense was also just better. Like we got to remember they were on the field. They were on the field. They just were so good those first 6 games that we forget they was on the damn field. It didn't, like I
they
said.
was shutting shit down.
Yeah. I don't disagree that complimentary football matters. I just disagree with that. That's why the defense was better in the first half. I just think it was better because they had better dudes. They were fresher.
With
Michael
less nagging injuries. And
yeah.
It's a combination. But I just thought that was interesting how Mike made that a point of emphasis. I think he's talking about. I think that's why he said run the damn ball, because he's talking about in situations where you know your defense just got off the field. I think it's more common sense.
That's
when
what
he said it, because you think about it. You think about that statement, Scott. My bad, bro, but think about that statement, man. You know I got a lot to say, bro. But look, think about that statement when he said run the damn ball. That sounds like frustration to me. Don't it sound like frustration to you? And I feel like he'll get frustrated in those moments where it was common sense to run the ball, like 2nd and 2 from the goal line. Like run the damn ball in certain situations like that. You see what I'm saying?
No,
man, I appreciate you letting me get in, though, man. I don't want to talk you too long.
Appreciate you, landlord from Wakanda.
Already.
Salute. Make sure you check him out later.
I appreciate you, sir.
He be in the trap house.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, man, we did a whole show talking about that exact quote, and I think people were looking at the wrong quote or looking at the quote the wrong way. When Mike McCarthy came out and said, I want to run a damn ball, I want to do compliment for. He's not talking about running the ball 40 times a game, yo. He's talking about when you're supposed to. He's talking about complimentary football, meaning, hey, man, like he said, 2nd and 2 in the red zone. What the hell are we doing? It's going empty. Hey, we just got a sack on 2nd down, on 1st down. Now we're backed up inside the 5. We're not going to just drop back and pass it again with this suspect offensive line from a pass blocking standpoint. We're talking about situationally running the rock and situationally complimenting your defense. And I couldn't be more on board with him because we pointed that out how many times on this show throughout the season that don't let the big numbers blind you. Don't let the casual fans say, what you talking about, Cowboy fans? Kellen Moore is excellent. They got the #1 offense. I'm not worried about that. I don't care about that. The Cowboys have had the #1 offense. The problem is they're not #1 when it matters the most within these critical situations. That's where I'm at. That's where I care about. Be the #1 decision makers in that time. Good stuff. All right, man. I knew this was going to be a long one, especially with the Ezekiel Elliott news breaking in the middle of the show, which maybe we got to pick that back up tomorrow. But appreciate y'all holding it down. Now, I know we got some super chats I got to get to before we get out of here. I talked about a few of them. Let me get to the rest. All right, where we at here? 15. Damn, it was more than a few. Did they 15? All right, let's get to it.
Super chat.
Towboat Ty dropped a few. He said Gilmore was PFF's #5 cornerback last year for a 5th comp. Oh, hell yeah. Do I still got my oh, hell yeah button? I sure as hell do. Let me see. Here we go.
Give me a hell yeah. I said give me a hell yeah.
Come on now. He dropped another one that said, my bad, I was off by 2 picks.
Super chat.
So I guess Gilly was top 7 is what you're saying. And then One-Handed Bandit dropped one to let us know that Zeke got released. Appreciate you. Hot Spot Casino.
Super chat.
Said that's not why Eckler left. Eckler left because of money not being right. Come on, man. Don't ruin our fun with that. We're having fun with that. Of course, there's more to it. I don't think it helps that Austin Eckler knew I ain't fitting to get the ball. But I'm going to just go with Austin Eckler left because Kellen Moore. I'm going to have fun with it.
Super chat.
Clebo dropped one that said, not against losing Zeke, but we better replace him with someone who can pass, protect, and get them tough 1-2 yards. Zeke to the Chief or Bears. And that's kind of been where a lot of people were trying to hold on to the Ezekiel Elliott thing. Well, you're losing physicality. You're losing toughness. You're losing guys that can get to 1 or 2 yards. You're losing pass blocking. And I say you would be shocked how many backs can actually do that. You'd be shocked how many backs can get you 1 or 2 yards, can be tough, can be powerful. Now, there was a point in time where Zeke was an excellent pass blocker, but But I think his reputation exceeded him at this point. He wasn't an extra left tackle like he potentially was, or year 2, 3 of Ezekiel Elliott. That wasn't the case, man. And then he dropped, hey, speaking of Zeke,
Super Chat.
Twan dropped one and said, this is for Voch being a class act on Twitter. I have not seen what Voch has said on Twitter, but if Twan says he's been a class act, I'm pretty sure he's been a class act. Pretty sure he's been a class act. I'm not sitting here. We already did the Ezekiel Elliott thing. This is why, to me, oh yeah, Ezekiel Elliott's about to get cut. Doesn't shock me. It's the right move. Now let's work. Now I think I got to everybody. Bears they could sign Zeke too. I could see that. All right. Long show today. Good show today. Maybe we'll take some leftovers from the day and talk about it tomorrow. We'll see. A lot has been happening across the NFL. I didn't even get a chance to go in on all of the signings and other trades that have happened. We'll revisit that tomorrow. But if you enjoyed the show, man, hit that like button. If you just jumped in, you're new. We had a lot of new viewers, it felt like today. I'm not sure if y'all were or you weren't. Hit that sub button if you like what we do here on this channel. I like to say this is for the diehard fans, and if you're a diehard fan, this show is for you. Later on, I'll be on. This time I will be. I had some personal things that popped up right before the show with Voch, so I couldn't come on. But later, we definitely gonna probably talk about this some more. Today, technically Cowboy Day, so we'll see. But make sure y'all tune into the volume on Voch and Barty Live, and then of course my guy Mauricio. Almost said Maurice. Mauricio Rodriguez will be back on for A to Z Sports Prime Time to talk all things Dallas Cowboys. Now, I'm going to press this button. Yeah, I'm sticking with it. Austin Eckler saw Kellen Moore's 5 runs and not passing to the running back and said, I'm good. Y'all ain't paying me enough. I'm just playing, man. Or am I? All right, y'all. I'll see y'all later. Peace. I got you tomorrow, Aaron. I got you tomorrow.
Bomb Squad!